People are worried about GYPSY's appearance. They're stating that she appears very skinny.
Anyone else notice the mood GYPSY was in after she left court today? Things just didn't go her way.
I want you to be happy, Ryan. I really do. Can we just think about my child for a second in this?
GYPSY Rose Blanchard has probably the messiest life in reality TV. I mean, we think about 90 Day Fiancé and some of these 600-pound sister shows, and I think GYPSY takes the cake. I mean, she did unalive her mother, go to prison for it, get out, she was engaged, then married, now she's pregnant. I mean, it's hard to keep up.
People are worried about GYPSY's appearance after her glam shoot for her maternity photos. They're stating that she appears very skinny, and they're a little worried about that, mainly in regards to her baby. They're worried. Now, initially, when GYPSY had gotten out of prison, it made sense that she had tacked on some weight. However, after 6 months, you do tend to drop the weight, according to sources, so that you're not eating as many of those carbs that they feed you. And GYPSY had lost a lot of that weight. However, a lot of people are coming out and saying that they are concerned, especially her fans. Now, some women during their pregnancy experience HG. However, according to sources, GYPSY hasn't experienced any of these symptoms. Could be to stress-related symptoms. However, people think it's strange that her appearance has gone to a complete 180, especially after almost being ready to pop in January.
But it looks like GYPSY's getting a little bit of closure in her life because at least she's settling her divorce with Ryan Anderson, the outspoken ex of GYPSY's who loves to go on TikTok Live and ask people to do a poll. Should I leave Jip today or not? Leave a poll. Reports write that GYPSY is finally putting her first marriage behind her. It looks like both she and Ryan have reached a settlement in their divorce. TMZ is so messy. I guess they contacted the courthouse and asked like, hey, did this settlement go through? And one of the clerks leaked to them that the divorce settlement has been created, has been signed, but the judge has not signed off on it yet, so we're still in limbo. Ryan's lawyer, Jerry Carrier, tells TMZ his client skipped the court appearance to save on those pricey attorney fees. Now, I'm not going to sit here and question their financial status. I mean, I believe Ryan is like a middle school teacher, and then I don't quite understand the payment structure when it comes to GYPSY and her books and Lifetime, but I do question like how much work was put into this settlement and if there is a lump sum of money that they need to, fight over. I mean, I think now that Ryan is out of the show, he probably is, he gets residuals from his appearance on her Life After Locked Up. But after this, the chapter's done. Ryan's attorney, Jeffrey, explained to TMZ that Ryan and GYPSY have been living apart for 6 months. So they went ahead with a new clause of action and wrapped up with an uncontested divorce that sped things up, letting them finalize before the original date in January 2025, which is nice because now she could give birth to her baby without the baggage of her ex-husband. He added that before today, they signed the divorce judgment, and Ryan also signed an affidavit confirming all the alleged dates, which I guess the dates are up for question, not only because of their separation, but also because of this baby. The exes already agreed on no spousal support, so even though GYPSY could, become super rich one day, Ryan is not entitled to any of that. But the division of community property is still on the table. It was a quick marriage, but there are some contracts still hanging in the balance. This update comes 8 months after GYPSY filed for divorce from Ryan, who she married in July 2022 while still incarcerated for her role in the death of Dee Dee Blanchard. I would say rest in peace, but I'm gonna save that one for someone else. However, the pair separated 3 months after her prison release. It seems like as soon as GYPSY got freedom, Ken was lurking in the corner, and she probably realized that she didn't want Big Ryan with her, who is constantly hounding over her. I'm not making any excuses for Ryan. If I was GYPSY, I probably would have left him too, because while she was incarcerated, they couldn't get so close to each other because they had prison guards there. But as soon as she was out, do you remember those cringe moments where Ryan was like touching her constantly, feeling up on her, just acting a little bit handsy and creepy? Like, this woman just got freedom for the first time in 8 years. Could you please just let her eat a hamburger in peace or drink her Dr. Pepper without trying to F her? Imagine this. You've been in an accident or someone you love has been seriously hurt. Suddenly you're facing a mountain of medical bills, paperwork, and insurance companies that don't want to pay what you deserve. Now, what if I told you there was a simple solution to this nightmare? Getting compensation when you are entitled to can be tricky. With many personal injury firms, firms giving you the runaround, drowning you in paperwork and settling for less than what you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Morgan & Morgan steps in. As America's largest injury firm, they've modernized the entire process. With over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, they have the resources to take on big insurance companies and give you the money you deserve. And trust me, they don't settle for lowball offers. Just this year, they secured a $26 million settlement in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the highest insurance offer. And there are plenty more stories like that. You could just fill out a simple form in minutes. No appointments, no complicated paperwork. Everything is done from your phone. Plus, it's totally free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan makes the process easy and stress-free. You can head over to forthepeople.com/Sloan. You can also find that link in the description below to get started. Remember, the process is free unless you win. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. Although Gypsy was able to escape Ryan, he still posed plenty of problems for her, which is why she's directly confronting him through social media. And I must admit, you know, it's a guilty pleasure to sit here and watch these two fight over TikTok because it is so petty and messy, and they're not used to being celebrities. They don't have these big PR firms, but then they also have a platform, and there are, you know, questionable timelines. So it is interesting to watch Gypsy out here just straight up acknowledge Ryan, because I guess it's the only way she could really reach him.
I want you to be happy, Ryan. I really do. I want it to be genuine, and I need this fighting, in a sense, to stop. Like, please, 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 can we just think about my child for a second in this and be wrong about it? That's all that I ask. I'm not trying to come at you. I'm not trying to prevent you from healing or getting a girlfriend. I'm happy if you do. My wish is that, you know, I have my happiness with Ken and you have a happiness with someone that will love you the way you should be loved. Because I know you have a good heart. You have a good heart. And I'm hoping that you didn't let me ruin that good part in your heart. That does love so openly. So I really, really wish the best for you if you're watching this.
Now, I do want to mention, and I don't want to be unprofessional here, but A&E did actually reach out to me. I did respond back to their emails, so note to A&E, it's in your ball court now, but they reached out to me. I don't know if they're going to use a clip of some of my video in the future episode of their show or what they want from me. So hit me back up. We're not going to leak this email right now because we're going to be at least a little bit professional. It does look like the cameras are currently rolling because they followed her to court to finalize this divorce. So did Ryan not show up to court because of the pricey attorney fees, or did he not want to be on camera? Fans will get a front row seat to the momentous occasion where the camera crew followed her while she went to go and finalize this divorce. Was it really much of a marriage? I don't know. TMZ reports, check out these pics and video obtained by TMZ of Gypsy pulling up to the courthouse in Louisiana Monday morning. She was dodging the drizzle as she hurried indoors with her stepmom and grandma. I actually kind of like what Gypsy's wearing here. Like, her outfit's like kind of chic. If you guys look, she's got like a black dress pants on, like a navy blouse, and then I really like the shoes moment here. This is like the first time I've seen Gypsy look a little bit more like fashion forward, but she is still very pregnant right now. And I don't know if Gypsy is trying to dodge the rain here or if she thinks she's like a Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan over here dodging the paparazzi. Like, okay, at this point, she's out of the rain. Like, she's got to be under some type of like pillar or something. It wasn't the post-divorce victory lap we were expecting, but it looks like Gypsy was saving her moment for drier turf, likely in front of cameras to spill the tea for her show, which I could totally see that. I mean, this is such a weird position to be in. She went from constantly being under her mother's control, then going to like prison, becoming obsessed with men, slightly allowing them to have some control and she to control them. Now she's out in the real world and she's got this show, this public perception where she can use manipulating tactics. Like, oh, is she like getting emotional while actually signing the divorce proceedings? No. But will she get emotional when the cameras are rolling and they're like, hey, Gypsy, this is your moment? Maybe she will, and maybe she's more of an actress than I thought.
Anyone else notice the mood Gypsy was in after she left court today? Things just didn't go her way. One, allegedly, she was going to ask the court to consider the DNA at-home test. That likely did not get approved. Two, she was probably betting on early divorce so that even this new book deal coming out would not have to be shared 50-50 with her estranged husband. Or could it be the trust fund that she's been harboring away, in danger of having to split with her estranged husband due to a possible early release from parole?
Now, Gypsy has been speaking a lot on TikTok, but I think we're going to get even more in her new show. But the real question is, do you want more? This headline reads, Gypsy reveals she didn't enjoy sex with Ryan Anderson, saying that their intimacy was not ideal. It seems like he was more of an emotional support system while she was in prison, and once she got a taste of him, in the real world, I don't know if I like that. Well, we'll keep going. When she got to see what it was really like to be Miss Anderson, she realized really quickly she did not like it. Quote, I still struggled when I first came out of prison. She was released on parole December 2023. She took to social media to boast about her relationship with Ryan, saying that his D is fire. So who's lying? The former couple, who tied the knot while she was behind bars, consummated their marriage shortly after she was released. And we know Ryan was a happy dog about that.
Can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. I'm living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
And the D is
Fire!
Now, despite Gypsy trying to brag about Ryan Anderson to probably make up for some shortcomings, Gypsy admitted to the outlet that their SCX, their intimate life, was not ideal. I told him privately, but maybe it was a lack of attraction in that area, or if I still wasn't processing properly. Well, I feel like it's probably more of the first one. There probably wasn't a lot of attraction. I'm sorry. In Gypsy's new memoir, My Time to Stand, she detailed experiencing the ABUSC that she went through her childhood and her ex Nicholas, who's still currently locked up. However, her stance on intimacy changed when she reconnected with her boyfriend, Ken. I mean, she is now pregnant. The pair were engaged and split when she was behind bars, and they rekindled their romance after she called it quits with Ryan. Quote, when Ken came into the picture again, you've got to understand there were 7 years of built up tension there, and it was amazing. Oh, wow. Quote, I was able to feel comfortable with him. Well, good for you, Gypsy. Every woman should. Gypsy added she has gotten past the harm she experienced when she was a kid, but there's still times that she's uncomfortable and that she can voice that to Ken. I'm very open and vocal with Ken about my needs because, I mean, she is also healing from a lot of trauma while adjusting to the real world and becoming a mother. Now, her new book, My Time to Stand, is based off of the idea that she was forced to be in a wheelchair, and now it's her time to stand out of that wheelchair. It kind of reminds me of the Wicked movie and how the one actress, I guess at some point, will like have her legs healed and she'll be able to stand. But let's not get off topic. Here's an excerpt from her book. People really want to know, what was the final straw? When was the moment I decided it was her or me? Here you go, y'all, on page 3. 1 month before the murder, my mom tried to cut my throat. At least that's how I saw it. The cause of concern suddenly was my voice. It was so high-pitched, it's so squeaky. My mother complained to my ear, nose, and throat specialist. I thought my voice was distinct, like my uncommon name. Or maybe it was a family trait to be proud of. We both knew women on my mother's side who had similar high-pitched voices. Besides, Nick said my childlike chirp was sexy, so I didn't understand the issue, and I told my mother so. Never in front of the doctors, of course. I knew better than that. But on the way home, I went on and on. I was like, squeaky wheel. There's nothing wrong with my voice, I said in a whimper as she pushed me in my portable wheelchair to the parking lot where our car was parked outside the hospital in Kansas City. Quote, you heard the doctor. That voice of yours might mean there's a problem with your larynx, and that problem could be causing your sleep apnea, she said, her word final. No matter my sassing, we were going to go ahead and meet with the doctor that they had just recommended, though we both knew I did not have any sleep apnea. In fact, by this point, the entire ruse has been up between us for a while. I was 23 and I tried to run away twice. I had shot her with a BB gun. She chained me to the bed. I was getting older and much harder to control. The older I got, the more physical and harsher her punishments became. She stopped letting me use my custom-made Jazzy HD Power wheelchair because she couldn't control it. So she didn't even want her to be able to wheel around on her own. I sensed that she was becoming more erratic and more desperate. She continued, when the doctor spoke to my mother, it was as if I wasn't in the room. Why don't we do an exploratory surgery of her larynx? He suggested. A simple operation of the voice box will get to the bottom of any respiratory or vocal issues. When I heard what it was, let's cut Gypsy's throat for no reason. I had previous surgeries on my neck and the scars brutalized me. But there was something about this particular surgery that felt more threatening than others. Whatever personal beliefs you have about Gypsy Rose now, you can have those, but you also must acknowledge that that is very traumatizing to be in and a situation that not a lot of people find themselves in.
What they don't realize is when you're writing a book, you may, I know at least for me, memories came back, and memories that I hadn't thought about in forever. Things that I had not talked about, things that I had not thought about in a long time were all coming back to me. So putting that in the book was kind of like putting more puzzle pieces together that even I was on a journey to learn about.
Now, on this book tour, we are getting some updates into Gypsy's life, like their daughter's name. And it looks like they've gone with the name Aurora, which I think, goes nice with Gypsy, Aurora, and Ken, her Chad. Remember, I've got a Chad.
Honey, I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You're just mad because I have a Chad. And last time I checked, you don't have a man.
While Gypsy believes her late mother Dee Dee likely named her after the infamous 1930s burlesque dancer Gypsy Rose Lee, when it came to finding a name for her own child, she can't take full credit. She says that Ken came up with the name. It was Ken's idea to name their unborn daughter Aurora Rainier Urker. There's a whole backstory to it, she says. Gypsy shared that some people think that they named her Aurora because of the Disney princess, referencing speculation the name was inspired by Sleeping Beauty, which could make sense because Gypsy Rose was forced into kind of like a Sleeping Beauty state, being medicated and being on so many surgeries. I guess that's a nice way to try to make it out to seem like it relates to this, but really nothing was sleeping about her. She was just drugged up. She goes on to say that some people think it's because of Christie's dog named Aurora Grace, which is so weird. Also, I feel like I couldn't name my child my stepmother's dog's name, because won't that be confusing when you bring the baby around? They're like, Aurora Grace, Aurora Rainier. One's the dog and one's not. Quote, back when Ken and I were together 7 years ago, both of us had a fascination with the northern lights. The proper term is the aurora borealis, she explained. I think it was in 2018 we wrote each other's future kid's name on pieces of paper, and Aurora was what we picked without even knowing it was what the other person had chosen. So it looks like they are soulmates. They're meant to be. She says that she held on to that name and that memory even after she and Ken broke up and she married Ryan. Quote, when we had broken up, it was like, oh, Aurora is never going to be born. A lot of people think the origin is one thing, but they don't know that little story. Now that Gypsy and Ken are together and she's officially divorced, she's happy to be, quote, nesting and making meaningful plans for her growing family. Quote, someday we're going to see it. Talking about the natural northern lights that inspired the baby name, saying, after I'm off parole, we're going to Sweden. Wow. So it looks like as soon as she's out of parole, she's headed off to Sverige. Have a good time. For this upcoming year, I'm really excited just to kind of obviously bring her into the world and have a lot of family time together. Obviously, we'll be celebrating being off parole, so Christy and Dad are going to be the babysitter while Ken and I go on a nice vacation somewhere. Now, even though Gypsy is living her best life, I could probably, confidently say that is her best life. I mean, compared to where she was, people aren't loving it. I mean, here's a random update she shared on TikTok, and then let's explore the comments.
Good morning, everyone. Gypsy Rose Blanchard here. So my book, My Time to Stand, is officially available wherever books are sold. I'm super excited about this, and you can find links in my bio.
As you can see, Gypsy is happy to give us her updates, and she looks great. She looks happy, but the comments are eating her alive, saying the reviews are even more exciting. Writing, whereabouts in the fiction section will it be? Doubting that she had gone through what she's writing about. Another person writes, is it a picture book? Another person adds, which version of your story will it be? Another person writes, I hope all 3 fans got their book. Another person asks, again, will it be in the fiction or non-fiction section? Now, if you guys want a deeper dive into Gypsy's book, I am happy to explore what we need to pull from there and what could be true, what could be lies and manipulation. You guys know we're always on the prowl, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Gypsy Rose update. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye, guys.